So I made a video on how to do these quite a while ago, and as you can see, I have 4 of them left. That one's upside down. And that's it. That's all I've got left of this particular little type of project. So we're going to go ahead and make, I don't know what you want to call them. They're just little pieces of background for your junk journal. I'm Cindy. Welcome to my channel. And for today, if you are crafting along with me, you're going to need a couple of pieces of tracing paper. I'm just going to take one out of my pad to start with. But I'm not putting it away because I will be using it again in a bit. So I've got one of those. You're going to need some ink. I have my Craft Smart dye ink pad, my Recollections archival ink pad, and archival ink from Ranger. I don't know which of these is going to print the best, so I have all 3. I have acrylic stamps, or acrylic blocks to use. I'm going to move those off to the side. And then I have a variety of types of stamps here that I really want to do something with and to play with. Some of them I haven't even opened yet. But this is one of the things that I do a lot of, or use a lot of. And like I said, I'm down to 4. All right, so let's start with something I haven't done a lot of, or haven't done at all. How about this one? This is Stampers Anonymous. It is a mixed media piece that I got from Joann's when they were closing. So it is new. I have not used it yet. And I haven't even opened it. So let's see what's all in here. We have a really nice page. We'll put that aside because we don't need that. This is the stencil that goes with it. Oh, it's attached. Okay. Let's unattach things here. We'll take that off of there, and we'll take that off of there. Throw this away. Sometimes I keep these for getting washi started. So that's the stamp, which at the moment I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to set that aside. And these are the other pieces that go with it. So I think I'm going to use my little one. Sorry. And I'm going to just make myself, I'm going to take that right off of there because I'm going to be using it as I go. And I'm going to make one that says letter. And I'm going to put it this way so that the whole thing gets covered. And we'll start with letter. So basically, I have been I made these 2 years ago. I'll see if I can find the original video down below. And I use them all the time. Okay, and I am starting a new stamp off sheet. I use them all the time, and I am now pretty much out of them. Like I said, I'm down to 4 of them. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of these. And then what I do is I put them on here. I can probably do them a little bit closer than that and get a few more of them in here. And then I will rip them up and put them into this little ephemera holder. I'll try to put the link down as to how to make this ephemera holder. This one a friend of mine made for me, but I have made several since then, and I have enough envelopes set to make more. But I'm out of them. You know, I don't have enough, and I want to make more. Okay, I want to try the different stamp pads. So that was this one. Now we're going to try the archival ink and see if it makes a difference. What I'm looking at, and one of the reasons I'm not doing this in color, I have done these in color in the past. Oh, that makes a much deeper impression. I kind of like that one. This is a nice fade in the back. This is a little bit more so that you can see it. But I use these obviously often. I'm not worried about whether they're straight up and down or whatever, because I'm going to rip them apart anyway. Okay. Get a little bit of that off there. So I like the archival ink. Oh, I started to talk about the color. One of the reasons I'm really careful about the color is I found that Distress Oxides tend to bleed on here. Okay, now this one is the, you can't read it, Recollections Archival Pigment Ink. Okay, pretty much the same thing, just a little bit lighter color. The lightest of them all was the Craft Smart dye ink pad, and that might have something to do with the fact that it's just old. We'll put that down here. There. So that was this one. All right. I'm going to stamp that off, and then I'm going to go right away and wash this off. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and you can see that some of that ink does not come off. I'm okay with that. I mean, that's kind of lets me know that I've used that ink pad in the past. And I'm going to take a moment and go ahead and take that strip right off and just set it aside. That's for ripping up later on. All right, now what are we going to do here? The no charge. And I like, what was the other one down there? Stamp. And I'm going to do these kind of, I'm going to do them at the same time. I'm lining them up on here just to make it easier for myself when I do them on here. Now, I wasn't impressed with this one, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to stick with this one and with the archival ink and get two different colors of black. Okay, that stamp is not as straight as I'd like it to be. It doesn't really matter. I'm not sure why I'm being so fussy about it, but what the heck. So if you're watching this, you know, if you're a longtime viewer, you know that I am gearing up for a show on Saturday. I'm a little nervous. Our weather is saying that we have a 60% chance of rain on Saturday. I do have a tent with sides, so I will be inside, at least inside my tent. But my concern is that nobody will come out. I hope people come because it'll be a rainy Saturday. I like how this is looking. Now, I will rip those apart so they are separate, and then they will go on separately onto various, what I like about using just the black, besides the clarity of the image, doesn't get all fuzzy, but besides that, I like the black because it goes with everything. No matter what I put it on, it's going to be just fine. Now, I think it's this that is making it more permanent on the stamp itself, because it is so much deeper in color. See? And it's actually a little bit crisper in the... You've got to be careful with tissue paper because the ink will spread. And so you want to be careful about what ink you are using. And right now I'm finding the archival inks work pretty well. And I just smeared that one. Yeah, that was me smearing, not the ink. It was me not getting a clear image. Okay, let me do this. And then let me stamp that off as much as I can. My other side, This one is full. That one I'm going to throw right will be the back end, but I think that's pretty close to full. Not much more is coming off on there. Okay, so now I want to try, I am going to try, this is Archival Ink Vintage Photo. I just am going to do one with this to see what happens. I'm sure it's not going to spread. That's not my concern. My concern is just whether it's going to come up. Yeah, it's pretty light, so I think I won't bother with that. I think we'll stick with the black. All right, gonna go clean this off and be right back again. Okay, I'm back and I have put a couple of others on here. So let's start with this again. And this time I'm using a small pointy finger and a form. Okay, let's see what we have here. The pointy finger only goes one way. I don't think there's another pointy finger that goes the opposite direction. That would be nice. And it's kind of smooshy. I'm not happy with that, to be honest with you. I don't like that smooshy finger. That's not... Oh, you know what? Would really help if you put it so that it was the right side up. Duh. Okay, let's try it again. I had it upside down. Kind of hard to work if it's upside down. Much better. Much better. And this says, please handle carefully. What the heck? We'll throw this in here too. Can't see it very well, but you can, it's there. So what do I do with my stamp off sheets? Well, they become backgrounds for journal cards, pockets, you name it. Okay, so now we have a half a ghost print, but you know what? Let's try this. That's still kind of usable. That'll be kind of fun to have it the little funky stuff there. Okay, one more on this page. And then let's stamp off over here. There. Okay. I got this one. I don't remember where. I don't know. Is this another Tim Holtz one? Stampers Anonymous? It doesn't, I don't have a thing with it. So I'm going to put that there. I'm going to pull this down and just plop the whole thing over here. And then I'm going to use this because what will happen with this is that this will become collage fodder. This will be a background somewhere. It'll be ripped up as pieces of background. Obviously, this needs to be re-inked. So we're just gonna get as much ink off of it as we can. This may be the last thing that I get to use this for because this is really inky. Or not inky, rather, as the case may be. It's hard to get the ink in the middle parts here. Well, see, sometimes it does this beautiful imprint. Sometimes it doesn't. You never know. All right, here we go. You ready? This will be a fun one to play on the jelly plate with, I think. Okay. Now, I don't have one of those, you know, not machines, but those little gadgets where you can put something down and then move it. And yeah, see, that's, I think, what I'm going to have to do because there's so much of this. Hang on. Fall back 10 yards and punt. Okay. There's still a lot of ink left on this stamp. So what I've done is I've taken my glue book and I have put it down underneath my tissue paper so that there is a little bit of give. I think when it's too strong, I mean, that's usable. I will definitely use that. It's just not going to be quite as effective as that. That is so much better. Think we can get another print? Only one way to find out. I'm going to cover that up and turn it upside down. Let it sit there for a bit. So I don't know, those of you who have one of those little gadgets where with the magnets and you put the paper down and then you put the stamp on the one side, you put it over, and then you, anyway, it makes it so you can line up some of the stamps that are progressive. And yeah, I like how that looks. I'm not going to get another print off of it. So give me a minute to clean up. Be right back. Okay, I'm putting these sets of stamps to the side because I think I am done with those. So far we've done the letters, we've done the stamps and the fingers, and we've done the big stamp. But I have this space here that still is crying out to be used. So let me turn it this way so it's facing me. Because remember, these will get ripped up, so it's not like things have to be in any sort of order. And I think I want to do some word stamps. I have a couple here. This is from Park Lane. These are just clear stamps from Park Lane. Let me do some big text. Well, not big text, but a big block of text. And that will go right here. And I'm going to use the darker color on here. I have done these before, used this before, not on tissue paper, but on regular. So let's see how this goes. If that works. Yeah. It seems to be French of some sort. I don't know what it says. I do not speak French. But these will be nice to rip up and use in something. In fact, before we end today, we will rip these up, rip something up, and use at least something out of here. I'll put that one there. Now I have this blank space, and I have, hang on, stamping off. I know I'm not on camera for that part, but it's okay. It's just me stamping off stuff and moving other things out of my way. Okay, I've got a little block here. Let me use my little block. I don't think I want that one. I think I want this one. I like this one because it has a splotch in it. You'll see what I mean. See this big splotch showing up there? Like the ink pen splattered. Okay, that's not as clean as I'd like it to be. That's a little better. Let's do it this way. Okay. Stamp it off. And all right. So let's do these two things. What do we got here? Well, we have this. These came from the Dollar Tree. These were not expensive ones by any means. Okay. Nope, hang on. I didn't take time to clean these yet, so I'm just going to stick them over on my big pad and get them out of my way. All right, so let's do a row of these. I really do like this. I think I need to just get, see, keeping it upside down, that kind of helped. Where's my top? Okay. Actually, I want to do it here. I'll put one there. And let's do another one next to it, see if we can get another print out of it. It's a little bit lighter, but that's okay. I'm all right with the lighterness of it. Lighterness? I think I'm making up words. So I'm filming this on Sunday, only because I need a break from doing the other. I've done 1, 2, 3 journals in a week. Yeah, and I started the 4th one. That's right here. I've started the 4th one, but I needed a break. I have to do something else for a little while. So I'm doing these instead. Because sometimes you just need to do something else. I think I'll do 2 more of those in this same black. There is something incredibly satisfying when you wash it, watching the ink go down the drain. Okay. There. Okay, now I have to clean up because I am a mess, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I forgot to turn my camera back on, but I'll show you what we have. So we have, let me grab a piece of paper here that I can put underneath so that you can see them better. We have a whole bunch of things that say letter. We have the ones that say stamp. This says charge 2357, and then stamp, and then a stamp number. And you can see what I mean about the fact that sometimes it bleeds. Now this one, this was the one that that's the one that I moved it on. I don't know, those two. Anyway, so there's those. And then this one, I added 2. I did the 3 that were here. I did the words that were over here. But then I took another little stamp and I went all the way around over here just to add more stuff to it. Because like I said, this is going to get ripped up and used. And then I finished off this paper. You saw me do these. I think I finished those. Anyway, that page is now done. So these are now all for me to rip up and put away and use as I will. But I figured in the meantime, I have a bunch of these that I have started and not finished, or just they're undecorated, things that kind of got forgotten. And I thought this one will be absolutely perfect. Now, when you rip, be very careful because your paper does have a nap to it. No, not a nap, a bias. The paper has a bias and it's going to want to rip in a particular direction. And you might have to fuss with it in order to get it to move in the direction you want rather than the direction it wants. I'm going to throw that away in a bit. Get this down a little bit closer. I think I want this. My thought is here, and then I want the one of the ones that says letter. I think we'll just take the one off the bottom. Now eventually I will sit in my chair and fussy tear. Is that a word? Can I make that a word? I will fussy tear these out. But in the meantime, I'm just doing a few little, one or 2, just to get them. Now, you can absolutely do this with a guillotine and make straight edges. I don't happen to want straight edges with these. So I am being very, and you can see it cuts this way far easier than it tears the other way. Maybe I want this. Okay, let me grab it. I'm not going to get my whole big glue book out here. It's too big. Just a little page. And my glue stick. And just to show you how easily the tissue paper works. When you go, now there is absolutely no reason I can't color in the words on the word letter. I can absolutely take my colored pencils and color that in, and who knows, I might yet do that. I'm just not going to do it tonight. You can see my purple disappears. This is purple disappearing school glue. And I suppose what's nice about it's pointing to my right, but if I flip it over, the nice thing about the tissue paper is it's still pretty thick or pretty seeable, so now I can point to the left. Okay, I don't like the fact that that's not showing through, so I will be definitely getting out, I think, some pink and putting in the word letter. Okay, so now I have a couple of these. This one's in German. This is a cool German piece. And I think what we're going to do is put this larger piece I know, I'm not talking, I'm concentrating on getting a straight down, not edge. I don't want a full straight edge, but I just want it to not tear into my image. Okay, but I'm going to put the image here, so I don't care about the fact that that's on the bottom, that it's straight on the bottom. In fact, it might work out better that it is straight on the bottom. One of the things you may be noticing is that tissue paper will curl. In fact, it curls something awful. Oh, I've got a great big chunk there. I do not need on there. Okay. It curls a lot. So you just kind of have to show it who's boss, basically. Now, would this have been easier to do before I made it into a pocket? Yeah, a little bit. But there we go. Now it goes in. There. And it's not easy to see, which is fine. I don't want it to necessarily be easy to see. I want it to be hidden a little bit. I got one more here, and then I have this piece of Morse code. Let me do this Morse code one. I think what I want to do with this one is one of these. This particular stamp says airmail, and then it says Paris, May 18th, departed. Okay, we'll throw that one away. And then I want to see if I can't get it around here a little bit more curved. And if I take a little bit of the image off, I'm not going to worry too much about it. There. Okay, I'm going to put that down there. Like somebody sent it. And okay, what is here? That's just a little bit of fleur. Let's put that little fleur down there. I don't know where it came from. Oh, yes, I do know where it came from. I was working on one of the journals that I'm doing in a hip and a hurry, and it was just a little piece that came off of the end of a strip that was too long. So now we're going to find a place for it. Now it's going to live right there in the margins. Okay, what else can live in the margins? I'm going to put something in the margins up here. How about some of this? And this will be background, remember. This will just be, if I do the same thing, I'm going to just kind of tuck it up underneath there. But that covers up some of my margin there. So grab your tissue paper. This is just tissue paper from, I don't know, I want to say it's from Walmart. I don't even think it was, it wasn't anything fancy. It's just tissue paper, or not tissue paper, tracing paper. It's just plain old tracing paper. Come on. Again, this would have been much easier to do before I had made it into a pocket. There we go. You know what? Maybe we'll just do it this way. There we go. We'll just put it right on top of that, because that way it covers the whole thing. And we'll trim off our top. So there we go. If you're enjoying these videos, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the like button to let YouTube know that you like them, and then click the bell for notifications so you know when the next video is coming out.